All right, so are you ready to like really get to know Usain Bolt? I mean, like beyond the highlight reel, the medals.
Definitely.
Today's deep dive takes us into some pretty surprising territory. We're going deep into his autobiography, Faster Than Lightning.
Awesome.
And I got to say, I thought I knew his story, but this book, it's
Yeah.
like opening a window into his world, right? Not just the track, but like Jamaican culture, his family, all the things that made him who he is.
It's wild how his story starts with, like, literally this near-death experience.
Oh, right, the car crash.
Yeah, back in 2009.
Yeah.
Highway 2000 in Jamaica. The car flips 3 times. He's going like 70 miles per hour.
I vaguely remember hearing about that. That's terrifying.
It's insane. But he walks away without a scratch. And that experience,
Wow.
it had a profound impact on him.
It makes you think, right? Like, how could that not?
He talks about it being like this divine message, a sign that he was meant for greatness.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
surviving something like that's got to give you some serious perspective.
Almost like it fueled this ambition to become the fastest man alive. Like gave him this purpose.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind a bit. Before the world records and the Olympics and all that, what was he like as a kid?
Okay, so get this.
Mm.
Track wasn't even his first love.
Really?
Yeah. Bolt was all about cricket, growing up in rural Jamaica.
Mm.
Picture him like out in the forests, playing with his friends, using banana tree trunks for wickets.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Right.
Like such a classic image. But the book mentions, wasn't he a bit mischievous too? Like skipping practice and stuff?
Oh, yeah. He talks about choosing video games over training, much to his father's disapproval.
Huh. Classic kid stuff. It sounds like he had a pretty strict upbringing, right?
Very much so.
What was his family life like?
His father was like super traditional, very strict, instilled these strong values in his kids,
Yeah.
like manners, respect above all else.
Right. That makes sense.
He believed in hard work, discipline, knowing right from wrong. And yeah, he definitely used corporal punishment, which Bolt talks about in the book.
Yeah.
He even credits some of his character development to those experiences.
That's heavy. It makes you think about different parenting styles and their impact. Is there like a specific story that stands out?
There's this great anecdote about this grumpy old lady who never returned Bolt's greetings.
Oh,
So one day, he decides to ignore her, and his father finds out, and Bolt gets punished severely.
wow.
But he learns this valuable lesson about respect, even when it's not reciprocated.
It's a tough lesson, but I guess it stuck with him.
Totally.
So when did the lightning bolt we know today really start to emerge? Like when did that natural talent turn into something more?
So apparently he was winning school races effortlessly from like a young age.
No surprise there.
Right.
But was there like a turning point when things shifted from just casual running to serious competition?
High school was a big shift. He went to this school, William Knibb, known for its athletics program. That's where he started training more seriously, competing at higher levels.
I can see him like just blowing past everyone, right?
His running style back then is described as almost comical. High knees, long strides, like he was about to take flight.
It's funny to picture that, right? Like that iconic Bolt style in its early stages.
Right.
But natural talent only takes you so far. What was driving him at that point? Was it purely passion for running?
It's actually pretty simple, his initial goals. He wanted to earn money to buy his mom a washing machine. She hated doing laundry by hand.
Oh, that's sweet.
And repay his dad for all his support.
Humble beginnings for a global icon, right?
Exactly.
But as his success grew, I'm guessing those desires probably evolved. Did fame and fortune start to become driving factors too?
He's pretty open about wanting material things, especially a sports car.
I mean, who doesn't love a nice car?
And he talks about how that fueled his training.
I can see that. Like, picturing yourself behind the wheel of your dream car, that's got to be motivating.
Definitely. But that success also brought a whole new set of challenges.
Right? Fame isn't always easy.
Yeah. He's candid about the constant attention, the paparazzi, the pressure to maintain this public image.
It's a lot to handle, especially at such a young age.
There's even this funny anecdote about him partying with Heidi Klum and Sandra Bullock after the 2009 World Championships.
Oh, wow. From rural Jamaica to partying with supermodels.
Talk about a whirlwind ride. So, beneath the charm and the showmanship, what does the book reveal about his mindset as an athlete?
He's surprisingly insightful about the mental aspects of sprinting.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of confidence, focus, mental toughness. He even admits to talking to himself during races.
Wait, what? Like actually talking to himself while he's running?
Yeah.
That's wild. What was he saying?
It's a mix of stuff, like reminding himself to stay focused, to push harder, even analyzing his technique mid-race.
That's incredible, like real-time self-coaching at those speeds.
Right. It's like his mind is as much of a weapon as his physical abilities. We're seeing a theme here from his father's strict upbringing to this self-coaching during races. Discipline seems like a huge factor in his success.
Definitely a recurring theme.
Okay, I'm ready for some Olympic action. Let's dive into those iconic moments, starting with Beijing 2008.
Get ready. We're about to relive those electrifying performances. And of course, we have to uncover the truth behind that infamous chicken nugget obsession.
Oh yeah, the chicken nuggets. Don't worry, we're getting to that. Beijing 2008, the world is watching. What was it like to witness those races?
You could feel the anticipation, like everyone knew they were about to see something special.
And he delivered, shattered the 100 meters world record.
9.69 seconds. It was unreal.
But it's not just the win, it's how he did it. Like, he looked so relaxed, effortless.
Well, almost like he was having fun out there.
Right. He even admits to slowing down before the finish line.
Which is just insane to think about.
I mean, who does that in an Olympic final?
Only Usain Bolt, I guess. But don't let that fool you. There was serious preparation behind that performance.
Okay, what did he say about his pre-race routine?
He goes into detail about his rituals. Stretching, warming up, music, that self-talk we talked about. But what's interesting is how he approached the mental side of things.
Yeah, how did he handle the pressure of the Olympics?
He focused on the process, not the outcome. His mantra was, just run your best race. The result will take care of itself.
That's a powerful mindset, focusing on what you can control, not getting caught up in the expectation.
Exactly. Trusting the work you've put in.
It's a lesson that applies to so much more than just running. Okay, but we can't talk about Beijing without addressing the elephant in the room, or maybe the chicken nugget in the room.
The chicken nuggets.
All right, lay it on me. Is this story as crazy as it sounds? Did he actually survive on mostly chicken nuggets during the Olympics?
Pretty much. He just couldn't find food he liked in the Olympic Village. The local cuisine wasn't his thing.
So chicken nuggets it was, for like every meal.
Nearly every meal.
That's wild.
His teammates were a mix of amused and worried. One of them, Brigitte Foster-Hylton, she actually stepped in and got him to eat some vegetables at least.
Thank goodness for Brigitte. Imagine trying to fuel those world record runs on a diet of nothing but chicken nuggets.
Right. But it's just another example of Bolt being Bolt. He does things his way, and it obviously worked out okay for him.
He wins the 200 meters, sets another world record. What did he say about that race?
He describes it as this out-of-body experience, this incredible surge of power, like he was being propelled by some unseen force.
It's almost spiritual the way he talks about it.
Like he tapped into something beyond himself.
And then he does it all again in London 2012. Another double gold and another set of world records. It's mind-blowing.
It really is. But what's important to remember is that even with all that success, Bolt still faced challenges. He talks about his rivalry with Johann Blake, the pressure to keep winning.
Yeah, their relationship was definitely complex. They pushed each other to be better, but there was that competitive tension there too.
He's very open about how losing to Blake in the 200 meters at the Jamaican trials, before London really lit a fire under him, it fueled his determination to reclaim his title at the Games.
He never backed down from a challenge. But even the greatest stumbles sometimes. And for Bolt, that came at the 2011 World Championship.
The false start.
I remember watching that race. It was surreal.
You could just feel the energy shift in the stadium.
Totally. And the way he reacted, the anger, the frustration, it was raw emotion.
He talks about in the book that feeling of disbelief, like the world was crashing down around him.
It's a reminder that even these seemingly superhuman athletes, they're human, they make mistakes. How did he handle the aftermath?
He channeled that disappointment into his remaining races, ended up winning gold in the 200 meters and the 4x100 relay.
That's resilience right there.
Turning a setback into fuel.
Speaking of challenges, I'm curious about his thoughts on the new false start rule. That rule's pretty controversial, right?
Yeah, no room for error at the start.
What does he say about it?
He admits to being furious after his disqualification. But ultimately, he accepted the rule. He believed in playing by the rules, even when they felt unfair. He didn't want to win by exploiting loopholes.
That's integrity.
It shows his character. But sadly, even with that integrity, some people still doubted his success.
It's disheartening that some couldn't just appreciate his greatness for what it was. What kind of doubts are we talking about?
He faced accusations, particularly from some American athletes and commentators. They questioned Jamaica's drug testing procedures.
insinuating that his achievements weren't legitimate.
Basically. But Bolt addressed those accusations head-on.
Good for him. How did he respond?
He defended Jamaica's anti-doping program, emphasized his commitment to clean sport, and in the end, he let his performances speak for themselves.
That's the best way to answer those kinds of doubts. So the book doesn't just focus on the track, though, right?
No, definitely not. He gives us a glimpse into his life off the track, the impact of fame. He talks about the media scrutiny, the struggles with privacy, the weirdness of celebrity encounters.
It must be surreal to go from a small town in Jamaica to being a global icon. Did he talk about dating?
He touches on that, the challenges of dating in the public eye.
It's like he's living in two different worlds, the superstar athlete and the regular guy.
And trying to reconcile those two worlds.
That's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
But Bolt always seems to handle it all with humor and grace. Okay, so we've covered so much. The highs, the lows, the chicken nuggets. But Bolt's story doesn't end with London 2012, does it?
No way. He goes on to compete in the 2013 World Championships in Moscow, wins gold in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and the 4x100 relay.
The man is a machine.
He really is. But the book also hints at him starting to think about life beyond the track.
It's gotta be hard to imagine, right? What do you do when you've accomplished everything you set out to do?
He talks about wanting to try something new, even mentions professional football as a possibility. He also reflects on the challenges of staying motivated after achieving so much.
That's gotta be a real struggle for athletes at that level. Okay, before we move on to his future aspirations, I gotta ask about those rumors of wild partying at the Olympic Village. Is there any truth to them?
He's surprisingly open about his social life. He admits to enjoying parties and female attention, but he's adamant that training always came first. He even says he never saw any of those condoms that supposedly get handed out in the village.
Seriously, never saw a single one.
Nope.
Huh. Maybe those rumors are exaggerated.
Or maybe Bolt was just being cautious. He did have a reputation to uphold.
That makes sense. So we've really delved into Bolt's world, haven't we? His journey, his struggles, his triumphs, his personality. But as we head into the final part of our deep dive, the question that remains is, what's his legacy? What will be his lasting impact on the world?
That's a question worth pondering, and it's one we'll explore as we wrap up our deep dive into Usain Bolt's faster than lightning.
Okay, so we've explored so much of Bolt's world, from his childhood in Jamaica to those unforgettable Olympic victories.
It's been quite a journey.
And we've talked about those, more personal aspects, too, the challenges of fame, his personality.
That's right.
But as we wrap up this deep dive into faster than lightning, I keep coming back to this question of his legacy.
It's a big one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How will history remember Usain Bolt?
Exactly. I mean, on the surface, it seems pretty obvious, right? The fastest man alive, multiple world records, Olympic gold medals, global icon.
Definitely.
Uh,
But I think Bolt's impact goes way beyond just the stats and the achievements.
I agree. He brought something different to track and field, This energy, this charisma.
Like a showman almost.
Right. The lightning bolt pose, the playful antics, the way he just seemed to be having fun out there.
He made it cool to watch track and field, even for people who weren't already fans.
Exactly. And that's got to be a huge part of his legacy, inspiring a whole new generation of athletes.
Especially in Jamaica, right? He showed them what's possible.
Totally. And what really struck me in the book was how aware he is of the future of the sport. He knows his time at the top won't last forever.
Yeah, he talks about the next generation of sprinters coming up, the ones who are going to challenge him.
And he's okay with that, He even says he wants those younger athletes to be the best they can be so that if they beat him, he knows he was beaten by someone worthy.
That's a true champion's mindset.
It's about pushing the sport forward, recognizing that records are made to be broken.
And that's how progress happens.
Okay, so let's talk about Bolt's own future. We mentioned his interest in professional football earlier.
Right. How serious is he about making that transition?
Well, he did train with Borussia Dortmund back in 2018, and he's a huge Manchester United fan.
That's
and,
good.
He's got the athleticism, the speed, and he seems willing to put in the work.
It wouldn't surprise me at all to see him succeed in football.
Me neither. The guy just seems to defy expectations. But even if football doesn't work out, I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Usain Bolt.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
He's got that drive, that energy, and he's always looking for new challenges.
Yeah. And throughout the book, we see this strong commitment to giving back, Like with the Usain Bolt Foundation, supporting education and sports for kids in Jamaica.
He's using his platform to make a difference.
He's not just an athlete, he's a role model.
He understands the power of his influence.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Faster Than Lightning, I'm left with this question. What will be Usain Bolt's most enduring legacy?
It's a tough one to answer.
Will it be the records, the medals, the showmanship, or will it be his impact on Jamaica, his philanthropy, his ability to inspire people all over the world?
It's probably a combination of all those things.
Faster Than Lightning gives us an amazing glimpse into his world, but his story is far from over.
I can't wait to see what he does next.
Me neither.